Greetings. Welcome to a new aspect of the Sages Ministry. And I'm really excited about this because what we're going to be attempting to do is having a conversation, and perhaps you could call it an interview, with some of our older ministers who are in retirement age. And as you have heard said any number of times, because of life experience, because of the wisdom that has been gained by these individuals, their it would be a tragic thing if we were to allow those insights to disappear. The host of our Pulpit Sages, or Sages in the Pulpit, we'll come up with a right name eventually, is going to be Bill Chapman. Brother Chapman pastored for many years in Michigan and then also in Indiana, was part of the Home Missions, North American Missions team when I was leading that, and is an incredible asset to the body of Christ. He and his wife have made a great difference in the work of. I'm glad that they're going to be part of this aspect of Sages. Well, let me just kind of start with interviewing. This will be the only interview really that I will do. And I just want to talk with Brother Chapman. He's in this particular season of life that we're talking about. And my friend, as you look at this, what have you personally found to be fulfilling?
Well, first off, I'd like to say that when you have men who retire, and when I say retire, um, I'm actually working on a book right now about this stage, and one of the things that I ask the question is, how does a man retire, or when does a man retire? And I simply just say we don't. We really
Right.
don't. You can't retire from a calling. A calling is a calling. And
Right.
so what do? We have to readjust. There is a stage in our life that we're finding ourselves into, are in, and so we got to figure out a way then be uh, to be used in that stage of our life and I mean to just to work well with them. There are going to be a lot of learning aspects about that, about elders and so on. But I will say this, that it can be done, and it will be a wonderful asset to our elder ministers, those who are still wanting to be used in the kingdom of God.
Well, and I totally agree. And I see pastors, I see men who have stepped away and perhaps have been away from pastoring a local church for 25 or 30 years,
Yes.
but they're still making a huge impact in the body of
Yes.
Christ. And in many instances, it's because that they have made the intentional effort to connect with those who are younger. And you're connected with a number of our peers, some who are our age, some who are
Yeah.
older. When you look at it, how do you see retired pastors, retired ministers, how do you see them best impacting the arriving generation of ministers, guys who are coming on the scene? Maybe they've been pastoring 5 years, maybe they're a novice to it. How
Mhm.
do you see us best impacting them?
I think the best thing for anybody that's in our stage of life to look for those particular people and then to come up alongside them. I think it would be helpful because of sages. It's helpful to be introduced as these men, people that are in our sections, in our districts, and so on, and just be introduced as men who will be able to just come alongside you and help you with any question, with difficult situations that they come up with, and have some sort of counsel. Now they may have counsel from their own pastor, they may have counsel from their friends or elders that's in their lives, but somebody that's in the stages, this is what this is all about. I think it would be a great idea to bring men into your life through this ministry that would be able to guide you through some of the most difficult uh, challenges that you will find when you're in ministry. I know one thing. Uh, I've pastored three churches. I pastored in Arkansas, and all of them had needed work. All of them needed work. Wonderful churches, every one of them, but they needed work. And so I wish I'd have had somebody that I could have said, "What would you do?" I just was lucky enough and fortunate enough to have some good friends who were wise, and they helped me along with my decisions. But but I think having elders in your life and, when I was early on in my Christian walk, I had a man by the name of Harry Shearer, and he was and you're smiling because you probably recognize that name,
Right.
and he was our district secretary for years and years and years under, NJ Bibbs, and I got to be with him exclusively many, many times, and he would just dump things into my life, just pour things into my life, and I was smart enough or just scared enough to not interrupt and to listen, and they're still in my life today.
Well, I think what you just described is a key component of this, that what he provided you was not necessarily structured. It wasn't, hey, we're going to have a class on ministry
No.
on Tuesday evening. It was instead just the opportunity with personal interaction and being in his company. That just him rubbing off on you.
Yes.
And I'm like you. I look back and I read this many years ago. The fathers we choose are more important than the fathers we're born to. I had an incredible dad, so I'm not diminishing him in any sense, but I am thankful for three specific mentors, people who I chose
Mhm.
and said, okay, there's something I can learn from this individual. And in many instances, I had to watch them from afar, at least until I'd been in ministry for 10 years or so. But I'm very, very thankful for all of that. And I believe this is what we have to offer to those who are coming behind. As you were talking about peers and elders, Rehoboam got life in trouble because he only listened to his generation.
That's right.
And I've had some elders who kept me from some really stupid stuff, and I'm thankful for that. What are some of the things that you anticipate hearing and maybe learning from our peers, and more importantly, those who are older than we are?
I still ask questions.
I do
And,
too.
many of the elders that, of course, they're not as elder as they used to be, it
Right.
could be I mean, my
Relate.
elders my elders are now within, 10, 20 years now, instead of 40 and 50 years. But we still share some of this, some of the maybe the nows, but, the experiences that they've had.
Right.
One in particular is Jerry Staten. Jerry Staten is one of our guys that's leading this in a regional area,
Right.
and he and I talk all the time. I'm usually out there. I've got a couple that's pastoring out there, and I go out and visit them. And then while I'm there, we just sit and talk, and we talk about the things that could be and would be if we just put it together. And it's amazing. It really is amazing. You still learn from elders. You just still learn. I'm 68 going on 69 years, and I'm still learning from my elders.
Right. And one of the things that I anticipate out of this is hearing elders tell their stories,
Yes.
not just comments, but their stories about life experience. I think we do a disservice to the body if we don't hear about Gerald Staten's conversion experience, if we don't hear
Right,
about planting churches that he has been involved in, and
right.
some of the, I tell Brother Staten, look, some of the craziest things that have ever happened to a human being have happened to Jerry Staten. And
Absolutely.
and it's remarkable when you realize God has used this very unique individual as he has. When you think about this going forward, and I don't want to put you in too much of a spot here, but
You're
how
fine.
often do you see these videos rolling out?
As far as from sages,
Yeah, yeah,
you have
the
to you have to look for them.
right,
They're not just popping up in in your face and so on, and so it's there's no there it's you have to look for them. So you have to pretty much go on the website
right,
to see, and,
yeah,
I'm just now learning about the Facebook part of it there. So,
right,
so right now you have to look for it.
Yeah.
And the idea then would be then to just constantly get that in front of our
Right.
elders that are in the retirement age. And we use that word retirement because it's, I don't know, it's just the one that we use.
Right.
But to be honest with you, we're just in transition. I
Right.
would say that that would be the proper way, that we're just in transition. We're just moving from one stage of our life to another stage of our
Right.
life.
It's a
And
different
let's
season.
yeah, it's not a euphemism at all. It is it's when we feel like that we don't want to travel anymore or as much as we did, or we don't want to pastor anymore or as much as we did. But and sometimes it's our health. We can't do it, our strength, whatever. But our minds still work.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's a lot of counsel that can be done. I still do that to this day, and
Right.
I've got about 5 couples that are pastoring throughout, the from the East Coast into Texas and so on, and I still counsel, young men that I've taught in Bible school through ABI, and, all of these you notice I put ABI in there, so,
Right. Yeah.
all of these opportunities there are enjoyable, and
Right.
I know that I could pastor, but do should I? That's where I
Right.
am right now, is should I?
Right.
I've just turned over, the church that I was pastoring, the 3rd church that I was pastoring here in Indiana, and just passed it over to a very talented young man who has never pastored before. But he's related to about half of Pentecost, but you wouldn't know it. He was just in business.
Right.
But he has been doing an extremely successful work on the church that we restarted here in Indiana, in Noblesville, Indiana. And so I'm proud of what's going on, and it is just continually moving. I get to
Well,
be a part of that.
yeah. Well, it's almost, if we could use the concept of a relay race, it's almost the passing of the baton.
Absolutely.
If the baton is dropped, then that particular team is out of the race.
Yep. That's
They're
right.
ended.
Yeah.
And so this is a major thing of so I look forward to whether it's weekly, which is probably more than what we'll tackle, but whether it's once a month or whatever. And for the audience, these will be on Facebook. We also have a great YouTube channel where various videos of Sages events. There were some things that you wanted to kind of pass by me as questions as we're launching this. So
Mhm.
so fire away, and I'll do my best to respond to
Okay.
those.
I'm gonna have to. Good. Good. I wasn't real prepared for that, but we're gonna do it anyway. So let me flip back over here. Number 1 was the first question was this. It was just what was it that caused you? Because I mean, we've been talking about this for decades. I
Right,
mean, we being just ministers and so on, and especially when we get to this stage,
right,
but we've never had this created.
right.
So what was it that just brought you to the point to say, "We're gonna get this thing started"?
Well,
And
I really can't claim uh, that kind of credit. Uh, you will recall perhaps that this ministry, a ministry like this, was under the auspices of home missions. However, it never got adequate funding. There was a time to give to it. There were 50 something ministries that were under that umbrella when
yes.
I became the leader of home missions. And so it just kind of was shuttled to the side. Uh, Through the years, Brother Bernard and I have talked about this a number of times, and I would bring it up periodically when we were conversing together. I didn't know that it was going to come out, but Church Advancement, which is led by Aaron Bryant,
Mhm.
um, he sat down with Brother Bernard, I guess it's been 4 years ago, and this was before a general board meeting. There had been a bit of funds accrue in the Church Advancement account, and then there was a allocation that had come from ladies ministry, and the two of them determined to fund the launch of Sages. Well, they took it to the general board. The general board approved it at general conference. I guess it was February of the next year before they contacted me. So I didn't know any
Okay.
of this was
Alright.
unfolding at that particular point. Um, Brother Bryant called and said, "Hey, the bishop and I have talked about this. would you and your wife be willing to take the lead of this? And that's kind of the history of it. But I mean, for 40 years, I've been gathering stuff about senior ministry and elder ministry and how other church groups were functioning and taking advantage of the abilities and capabilities of those who were older, and in that realized that both at the local church level and then with our preachers, we were missing something. We were missing opportunities that
Absolutely.
needed to be taken advantage of. So that's kind of
Yeah.
the genesis of it.
Yeah, every time one of our elders passes from the scene and they're taken to heaven, heaven gets to, enjoy their wisdom and what they've experienced in life, but we're cut off from it.
Right, exactly.
And so, we need to get that now. I'm working with well, I say working with, I'm just fellowshipping with, right here in Indiana. We've put together, we just call it all kinds of things, but, mostly it's just just a bunch of old men getting together and,
Users for God, huh?
yeah, geezers for God, that'll be great, and, we're just old guys, and we're getting together, and, we're sharing breakfast, and then we talk about the Word, we talk about our experiences, things of this nature, but
Right,
then when we leave the table, it's done,
right.
and so all that was discussed, it's we experienced it, we know what it's about, we laughed
Right,
about it, we've cried about it, but now all of a sudden what are we going to do to get this in somebody else's life, into a younger man's life? And to be honest with you, some of the younger men of our district or our section right here in Section 5 in Indiana, they started joining in and they
good.
loved it. And they loved it. Here's the problem with that. Then health problems get in the way and so on. And
Right.
so some of those, but we'll get that started again.
Yeah,
But I started to say this, that I'm working with no, it's not working with, but I mean fellowshipping with an elder. He's in his 80s, and his wife is the same, and his wife is in a nursing home right now. I'll probably just save his name for right now. He'll be one of my interviewees,
good.
and he's very interesting. Had a very interesting life, and so he and his wife started very young as evangelists, and his life as a child, his dad was an evangelist. Very interesting story along the way, and uh, and all of these things, I get to be a part of that. I
Right,
get to be a part of that. I'm listening to it. I'm thinking, this has to get into younger men's lives, and even my life.
yeah,
I'm 68 years old, but I mean, it still helps me as well. And I'm thinking to myself, and then, of course, this same man has pastored several times in different states along the way, and so on. He's had great
right,
experience, superintendent of a district, and I'm just avoiding the name right now,
right.
and
I look
so
forward to
that
hearing his stories.
he will be one of our first, there's no
Good.
doubt. And so and now his health is compromised. His wife is in the nursing home, and she's having all the issues that older folks will have, memories and things of that nature. But yet there you can see the fire.
Right,
You can see it in him, and he does not want to be done.
right.
So how can we facilitate this kind of fire
That's exactly right.
in somebody's life? And
Yeah,
that is through Sages right here. This
yeah,
is
exactly.
this is the key right here. So,
I,
Brother
I
Brian,
agree.
thank you very much.
That's right.
Bishop, thank you very much for putting this all together. And Brother Coon, thank you for heading it up.
Well, you're very kind. I'm excited about it because I see, uh, when we look at this season of life from a biblical perspective, our greatest
Yes.
responsibility is to invest in what I will call the arriving generations,
Yes.
and that has to be that has to be intentional on our part. It's a rare young person who reaches up to an elder. The elder has to make the initial effort to let the younger person know you have value to me, and I'm would you like to meet me for coffee? Would you like to
Yes.
join us like the group you have? Would you like to join us for breakfast?
Yes.
um, those are the things I think that we have to do, And then there is this, as we talked about earlier, wisdom rubs off on my ignorance, kind of. Is one way to look at it, which I'm grateful for the wisdom rubbing
Yeah,
off. That's for
yeah,
sure.
me too.
That's for sure.
Yeah, me too. But God is good, and so I think this is time. This
Right.
is time to do this. There's no
Yeah.
doubt. I mean, I was part of home missions. I've been preaching for, I don't know, 30 some odd years, and I didn't know anything about an elders ministry at all. So it was there, and somewhere along the line, it got pushed off to the side. I think it's time. I really do, especially being the age that I'm in, that I think it's time that
Right.
we make this thing happen,
Yeah.
and we do this by encouraging our young men
Right.
to get in and pay attention to what's being said. Not only the well-known heroes that we have,
Oh, yes.
but also those that we don't know their names. God
Exactly.
knows their names. And then there are maybe hundreds of people or maybe even just tens of people that they have pastored. You never know.
Right.
But they are full of experiences and wisdom, and we get to be a part of all of that if we just took the time to just sit for about 15 or 20 minutes and listen to
Right.
one of these podcasts.
One of the things that I ask almost every elder, because I love the answers. We all tend to tell our victory stories where we win the war, but I like to ask elders, tell me, sir, what is the dumbest thing you ever did? And then listen, because we learn so much from people's mistakes, learn more from that sometimes than we do their positives and their
Oh,
wins.
yeah. Yeah.
I've got my own list of stupid I did that could be addressed. But thank
Yeah.
you so much, my friend, for taking this on. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to facilitate the growth of Sages on several fronts. I think there will be dozens, if not hundreds, of people in Indiana when you begin to interview some of the elders of that district, of the
Yes.
Michigan district, of various districts, people who and young pastors. We're really trying to pursue getting pastors involved with Sages, because it's got to be about the local church eventually.
Yes.
If we can get them in, and so, man, this is a great step forward for the Sages ministry, and I thank you for your efforts on behalf of this, and look forward to see what it's going to become.
Well, we're learning as we go, and
Yeah,
obviously, with all of this right here, trying to get it all set up, and there's a young man that's behind the scenes right
right.
now. His name is Kenny Bowen,
All right.
and so anybody need help with technology or anything like that, you can call him. I'll just tell him, you can just call me. I'll give him his telephone number, and we'll keep him busy like crazy. So he's not going to comment or anything like that, but
Well,
he's behind the scene, and he's our producer right now, and he's been
well,
very, very, very um, courageous to step in and do this for us.
and I say with you, thank you to Pastor Bowen for this particular effort and for helping us with this. And I may be one of those calling on
There
him
you
for
go.
some tech help on some other aspects of my life. So
Uh,
thank you so much, and we look forward to hearing the rest of it. And thank you again. God bless all of those who are watching this on the Sages channel and also in the Facebook group. God bless you. You'll be hearing a whole lot more from this particular branch of the Sages ministry. God bless.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brother Coon.